You never forget the moment your life splits in two. Before and after. The platform is nearly empty. A few tired faces. Fluorescent lights that flicker like they're deciding whether to stay on. This is the kind of night that feels like a warning. Zara walks fast. She always walks fast now. Her laptop bag is pressed tight against her body. Her eyes scan the platform the way they always do, left, right, behind. She learned that from 8 months of looking over her shoulder. She doesn't know that tonight is different. She doesn't know that two men at the far end of the platform aren't waiting for a train. She doesn't know that the man sitting alone at the center bench, reading a newspaper, completely still, has been watching her for 6 weeks. Junho doesn't look up from his newspaper, but he sees everything. He clocks the two men the moment they shift their weight. Professionals. He recognizes the body language, the calculated casualness of people about to do something. His jaw tightens. His hand moves slowly to his side. This wasn't supposed to happen tonight. Zara reaches the end of the platform. Her train is 4 minutes away. She exhales slowly. Then she feels it. That cold sensation at the back of her neck. The one that's never been wrong. She turns. The two men are moving toward her. She whispers to herself, "No, no, no, no," and backs away. Her heel hits the edge of the platform. She grabs the pillar. The men are close now. One of them reaches into his jacket. And then, from nowhere, a body steps between them. Junho. Calm as the eye of a storm. "I wouldn't," he says. Quiet. Absolute. The men freeze. Something in his eyes makes them pause. They exchange a glance. The train roars into the station. In the commotion of doors opening and people flooding out, the men vanish. And Zara, adrenaline crashing, crumples. Junho catches her before she hits the ground. His arms are around her before he's made the conscious decision to move. She is shaking, not crying, just shaking, and he holds her weight like it's the most natural thing in the world. "I have you," he says, low and steady. "You're safe." She doesn't know that's a lie. She's not safe. Not even close. But in his arms, for one impossible second, she believes it. He brings her somewhere bright. A diner that smells like coffee and old grease. She sits across from him, hands wrapped around a mug, finally breathing normally. "You didn't have to do that," she says quietly. "I know," he says. "Those men, do you know who they were?" "No." Too quickly. A small lie she doesn't catch. "I should call the police." A flicker behind his eyes. Something she almost sees. "I think you should go home," he says. "Take a different route. Don't be alone at night for a while." "That's it? That's your advice?" "For tonight, yes." She studies him. There is something about him that doesn't add up. He's too calm. Too certain. People who witness something like that, they shake too. They ask questions. They call 911. He did none of those things. "Who are you?" she asks. He gives her the ghost of a smile. Someone who happened to be there. He pays for her coffee before she can protest and walks her to a cab. She doesn't get his name. She doesn't ask. She tells herself she won't think about him again. She thinks about him every day for the next 2 weeks. Life returns to something resembling normal. Zara picks up her daughter Amara from her mother's. She goes to work. She stops looking over her shoulder almost. Then she sees him. At the coffee cart outside her office building. Junho. He glances up. For a half second, something crosses his face, surprise, but also something else. Something guilty. She doesn't see the guilt. She only sees him. "You again," she says, surprised and pleased. "Small city," he says carefully. "You never told me your name." "Junho." "Zara." A beat. He buys her coffee without asking how she takes it. She tells him oat milk, 2 sugars, and he files it away like a man who pays attention to everything. She doesn't know he already knows. What follows is 2 weeks of accidental on-purpose meetings. The coffee cart. The library where she studies her paralegal cases. The park where she takes Amara on Saturdays. He is always careful. Always a little distant. Always leaving before she wants him to. But there are cracks. The way he watches Amara play softly, like it costs him something. The way his hands still when Zara laughs, like her laugh, is a sound he didn't know he was waiting for. The way he almost says something a dozen times and doesn't. Where are you from originally? She asks one afternoon. Seoul. But I've been here 7 years. You seem. I don't know. Like you're always thinking about something else. He looks at her. And before he can stop himself, I'm always thinking about you. The silence after that sentence is the loudest thing either of them has ever heard. Junho. He stands abruptly. I should go. She watches him leave. Amara tugs her hand. Mommy, is that man your friend? Zara watches him disappear around the corner. I don't know what he is, baby. That same night, in an office that smells like burnt coffee and old case files, Junho sits across from Director Choi, a man whose face was designed to inspire fear. You're getting attached, Choi says flatly. I'm not. The girl has the files on her laptop. She doesn't know it. Marcus loaded them before he ran. When the Crescent Syndicate comes for those files, and they will, she becomes useful to us. She's not an asset. She's a civilian. She's whatever we need her to be. Your job was to monitor her and report, not fall in love with her. I haven't. Kim. Quietly lethal. A single word that ends the conversation. Silence. Dear job. Junho drives home in silence. Sits in his car outside his building for 40 minutes. He thinks about her laugh. The way Amara had grabbed his finger at the park when she didn't want him to go. He thinks about what Zara would say if she knew the truth. He already knows. He just isn't ready for it yet. 3 days later, Zara is at her laptop when the file appears. She was looking for a paralegal case brief and clicked the wrong folder. The file is labeled Crescent_Surveillance Ose, Z. Her name. Her full name. Her hands go cold. She opens it. There are photos. Hundreds of them. The coffee cart. The library. The park. Her building's front door. Amara at the swings. And in the corner of almost everyone barely visible, deliberately positioned. Junho. A dossier. His name, Kim Jun-ho. Rank, Detective, Joint Organized Crime Task Force. Assignment, Surveillance of Zara Ose, Person of Interest, Crescent Syndicate Case. Person of Interest. She sits very still for a very long time. Then she calls him. Come over. Her voice is like glass. Zara, it's late. Come. Over. She opens the door 30 minutes later and holds up her laptop screen. His face goes ashen. Person of interest, she says, barely above a whisper. Zara. 6 weeks. You were watching me for 6 weeks before you happened to be on that platform. Yes. The coffee. The library. You knew where I'd be. Yes. Her voice breaks. Amara. I would never. Get out. Zara, please listen. You brought your surveillance into my home. Her voice rises. You let my daughter grab your hand. I know. I know what I did. I'm not going to tell you it wasn't wrong. She stares at him. But I need you to listen to me right now. Not because of the case. Because your life is in real danger, and I am the only person who knows exactly what's coming for you. And why should I trust a single word you say? A long silence. He looks at her, really looks at her, and when he speaks, his voice has changed. The detective is gone. There is only a man. You shouldn't. But I'm asking you to anyway. She doesn't tell him to leave again. She hates herself for it. After he eventually goes, she sits on the couch alone in the dark. She doesn't cry loudly. She cries the way exhausted people cry, quietly, without drama, like her body is releasing something it's been holding for years. Not just tonight's betrayal. All of it. Marcus. The running. The fear. The months of being strong for Amara without anyone being strong for her. She sits there for a long time. Then she picks up her phone. Stares at his name. Puts it back down. Then picks it up again. The next morning, he tells her everything. Marcus owed the Crescent Syndicate $2 million in laundered money. Before he ran, he transferred encrypted financial files onto Zara's laptop without her knowledge. The syndicate had been looking for those files for 3 months. They had been patient. They were done being patient. Marcus did this to me, she says slowly. He used me. Yes. And your department, they were going to use me too. As bait. He doesn't answer. He doesn't have to. Are you still working for them? I filed a protective custody request for you this morning, he says quietly. My director denied it. So what does that mean? It means I'm here on my own time. Off the record. She looks at him for a long moment. Why? He almost doesn't answer. Then, because you matter more than the case. That evening they move Amara to her grandmother's. Zara holds her daughter for too long at the door. Mommy, are you scared? Amara asks. No, baby. Mommy just loves you a lot. Amara looks past Zara at Junho waiting by the car. Is he going to keep you safe? Zara looks back at him. He's watching her with that look, the one she now knows he's been trying to hide for weeks. Yeah, I think he is. Amara reaches past her mother and grabs Junho's hand. He looks down at this small hand in his and something in his face, something locked up and defended, just opens. Don't let the bad guys get her, Amara says, very seriously. I won't, he says, equally serious. I promise. He keeps that promise. But not without cost. 3 days into the safe house, Junho gets the tip from a source. The syndicate has found them. 20 minutes before they arrive. He doesn't waste a single second. He gets Zara out through the back. They run through rain-slicked alleys, her hand in his, and she runs because she trusts him now, fully, in the bone-deep way you trust someone who has shown you who they are when everything is on the line. They duck into a building. Press flat against the wall. Breathing hard. So close she can feel his heartbeat. Junho, she whispers. His hand finds hers in the dark. Don't say anything. Outside, footsteps pass. And pass. And fade. They stay like that for a long time after the danger is gone. Neither of them moves. Neither of them wants to. The following night, it ends. Junho has enough evidence, the files from her laptop, recordings from the past week, to bury the Crescent Syndicate's entire Brooklyn operation. But Dante, the syndicate's enforcer, finds them first. And he is Marcus. Battered, terrified, barely standing, Marcus is being used as leverage. The files, Dante says coldly. Or the man dies. Then we come for the woman. Junho looks at Zara. She looks back at him. Don't, she says, reading his face. I'll be okay. You don't know that. No. But I know you will be. Junho moves. He was special forces before he was a detective. He has never used that training for anything personal in his life. Tonight he uses every single second of it. Dante doesn't expect it. The two men flanking him don't expect it. Zara, who has already hit the emergency signal on the burner phone Junho gave her, watches from behind the crates with her hand over her mouth. It is terrifying. It is precise. It is, in a way she'll never admit out loud, the most incredible thing she has ever seen. When it's over, when Dante is restrained and his men are down and the sirens are 10 seconds away, Junho turns to find her already running toward him. She crashes into him. He catches her like the first night, like always. His arms go around her, and they hold each other in the dark, in the dust, while blue and red lights begin to bleed through the warehouse windows. I was so scared, she says against his chest. I know. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. Just, don't let go yet. He doesn't. Not for a very long time. Later, in a hospital waiting area that smells like antiseptic and bad vending machine coffee, Junho sits with 3 stitches above his eye and Zara beside him, her shoulder against his, Amara asleep across both their laps. It is the most domestic moment of both their lives. You're in trouble with your department, she says. Probably fired. Definitely suspended. He doesn't sound particularly concerned. And the case. The files were enough. Combined with the arrests tonight, Dante, his people, the syndicate's Brooklyn operation is finished. Marcus will testify. He'll go into protection. So it's over. Your part? Yes, it's over. She exhales for what feels like the first time in months. A long, comfortable silence settles between them. Amara shifts in her sleep. I don't know how to thank you, she says. You don't have to. You lost your job for me. I chose this. Why? He looks at her. Really looks at her, the way he has been looking at her since a late-night subway platform when she was just a name in a file and became, without his permission, the most important person in his world. You know why, he says. She does. She has known for weeks. She just needed to hear it. Say it anyway. A slow smile. Rare. Real. Because I love you, Zara. I have for a while now. It started as a case, and it became the only thing that mattered. She looks at him for a long moment. Amara stirs between them. And then Zara does something she hasn't done in 2 years. She leans her head on his shoulder. Closes her eyes. For the record, the surveillance was still not okay. Noted, he says quietly, smiling. And I'm going to need a really long apology dinner. However many you need. Junho? Yes. I love you too. Even though you drive me absolutely crazy. His hand finds hers. Holds it. Amara opens one eye, looks at their joined hands, and closes it again with the self-satisfied expression of a 6-year-old who has been quietly rooting for this outcome for weeks. 6 months later, the apartment is louder. There is a second toothbrush. Shoes by the door that are too large to be Zara's and too serious to be Amara's. Junho has a new job, consulting for a victims advocacy organization. He comes home smelling like terrible vending machine coffee and looking like a man who has found exactly where he's supposed to be. Amara has taken to calling him June, a compromise she negotiated herself that he accepted immediately. Zara watches them at the kitchen table, Junho patiently helping Amara with homework, patient in a way that looks like love and feels something she thought she'd forgotten how to feel. Safe. Not because he's there to protect her. But because when you love someone the right way, when they know all of your fear and your fight and your exhaustion, safety stops being about danger. It becomes about home. She didn't know he was watching her. But the night she fell, he was already there. He had always been there.